about how do we style the list items and how do we work with the list items. So we will use them in different examples. We will design and work with them. Different types of examples we will see and we will work with them. So after understanding these list styles, how do we deal with the list styles and work with the list styles? Now some more examples we will design. In those examples, we will use these list styles and options also, right? So now you need to understand about achieving different types of layouts, how we can achieve different types of layouts by using what we discussed till now. So let's see few options now, how we can manage and work with them, right? Yep. So after working with these list styles and text effects and options, now we can work with some formats, how we can deal with the formats. So that means some layouts and styles and effects, how we manage them. Better, I will keep in a separate folder here. I will add some CSS layouts. Okay, CSS layout samples, or I will say samples. Okay, fine. So now one by one, how we can achieve various types of contents. So what we are going to see now is various layouts and effects. In this layouts and effects, the first option is how we can manage center alignments, how we can configure and work with center alignment. So how do we keep the content center aligned, right? How do we do that? So text alignment, okay, we learned about text alignment. Center alignment, to keep the content in the center. So the purpose is it keeps content to the center of page. It keeps content to the center of page. So for that we need we have to use the attributes. So we have to use the properties. What are the properties to design them? We have to use the properties align items and justify content. So by using align items and justify content, we can keep the contents aligned in a center. So let's design one simple option here, how we can keep everything. One simple example. Now we are going to design some examples, some predefined formats. With that, we can achieve more on what we are learning actually. So I'm designing a new file. So center content.html. And let's design a simple form here. Doc type HTML head, and title is content centered content. Okay. So in the body, so we are designing a div, and let's keep the class as container. Okay. Now in this we have another div. So, and we kept a form. So in the form, we have a heading user login, and under that we are defining some div. So the class as form group. Okay. So in that we have a label and username. Under that label, we kept a div and input type is equal to text. Okay. For this, so we are defining the class as a form control. Form control. Right. These are all our own classes that we are defining. So this is a form group and a form control. So similarly, we have another div, so which will use a class called form group, and label is password. And in this we have input type is equal to password and the class as form control. Okay, fine. Now we have a button. So just let's keep a div and a class as form group, and we will have a button, just login something. Okay. Now first, when you look at this design, usually it will be in this way. So that is the basic appearance here. So first we will give some effects here, some options here, and to keep the content everything correctly defined. So we will keep options here. I need to keep this center. I need to keep this center to the page, to the center to the page. Now, what are the options we are defining here? Options. Let's put the styles. Put the style. Now, in the style, so we are defining so options for various contents. First, form group, form controls, form and containers, how we can manage. To keep everything in a correct way, suppose first option is we have a form. Okay. For the form, so background color, some light sky blue, some background color I defined. And for the form, we have kept padding as 20 pixel, form width as auto, and border radius, we kept as 20 pixel. And for box shadow, we will keep box shadow as 2 pixel, and 4 pixel, and black. So we know x-axis, y-axis, and blur options, how much we need to define some black. That is the border here. That is the effect given for the form. That is how the form looks like actually. So this is the basic appearance given for the form. Now, in that, what we are doing is we have another one is form group. We are having form group. So we will put margin top as 20 pixel. That means the form group gets into 20 pixel. That means some space between the contents. It gives that space between the content. Because username, password I kept as one group actually. Okay. Then form control. We will have form control. And this we define as border radius. So border radius as a 5 pixel. And we have border as 1 pixel, and solid and dark blue. Okay, that is one border we have configured for that. So width is some 300 pixels, and height for every control will be 40 pixels, something. Now every control inside the form will get this appearance, will get that appearance actually. We are configuring that appearance. So usually for button, so we have a button. So for button, we have defined width as 300 pixels. And for the button, we are configuring height also 40 pixels. And so border as 1 pixel, solid and dark blue. We can keep it so color as white. And so background color, so we will define some background color for that. So background color as a dark blue. Okay, that is the background color for the button. So, and border radius also for the button, we will give as 5 pixel, right? So border radius as 5 pixel. So that is the effect given for the button also. We have the button. So this is actually the appearance, keeping all the content in a correct way. So this is the text box. This is the password box. And we have the login here. We have the login. So this is the original size actually for that. And wherever labels are there, so I will just give here. So label. So wherever label is there, so font weight as bold. We given the font weight as bold. And for heading, we will give font family. So family, yeah, font family Arial. So we just given that font family Arial. Okay, and heading text align to center. That gives the heading and fonts a correct alignment here, placement here. Now our intention is to keep everything in the center. And what we are doing now is for the container which holds the every content, means all the contents are inside the container. The form is present inside the container. Display as flex. It keeps flexible display for the content. That means the flex will set in such a way that it will correctly fit according to the content. It will fit according to the content. So when you are changing at different zoom levels, that it will correctly fit according to the content. So we say display as flex. And I said align items center. And I have used justify content also center. We use justify content space between, right? And here, so we have border as 2 pixel solid and dark cyan. That is the border for that. And we have box shadow 2 pixel, 4 pixel and dark cyan. That is for container. And container height as some 400 pixels, container height. And container we can keep with some background image. I'm using a background image for the container. So // images. So image actually uses an URL. So background image URL. So URL, so // in that images / some shoe.jpg. We kept that. And the background, what we will do is background repeat as no repeat. And we are keeping background position also as center, background position center. And background attachment as fixed. We learned about all these effects. Now this keeps your content so fit in this way. That means it is keeping the content to the center It is keeping to the content to the center. It is keeping to content to the center, keeping the content to the center. When you are adjusting, it keeps the content to the center because whatever the height you have defined for this. So here, generally, suppose I say 100% of height. So 100% of height, it fits correctly that shape. So you can define here height as suppose 500 pixel, then it will fit that 500 pixel. And it makes sure that it is inside 600 pixel, it is correctly centered into it. And you can see that that content is always centered. Even when you change the zoom levels, it is always centered. It is always centered to the page. So, and you can scroll this and the background attachment is fixed. Background attachment is fixed. When you are scrolling this, the background attachment is fixed. That means these type of screens are very regular for us. That means we want the backgrounds, we want the login screen, we want the registration forms, everything correctly fit into the center of the page. So lengthy login screens forms you can configure and keep in the center. Only the point is you need to know how we can set the combination, Usually we have to set the combination. So here the key point is these two are to make the content center. Align items and justify content. And remember one point is when you are using them, your content also should support the hierarchy correctly. That is where sometimes you will fail. Suppose many times how people try directly is they have a div that is the outside container. And for the div directly they give the option justify content, align items and everything. And here in that div, I kept another div. So that means division. And in that again, some more divs are there. So that means these are kept in this way. So you may think of using data list, data terms instead of using divs and labels. One problem generally data terms, data definitions instead of divs if you try. What happens is usually terms and definitions when you try, they already have some indentation, left indent, right indent already they have. Due to that, your alignment to center will disturb. So that is the reason. So better what you can do is, so you can configure in this way. That means just keep organized everything with normal divs, then you can change the alignment. So keeping the contents to the center requires and flexible, responsive it should be. For example, suppose I'm inspecting this, and here we are dealing with different designs, inspecting and dealing with different designs. You can see onto different devices like mobile-like devices and mobile-like devices. You can see on different devices, its appearance will be same. On different devices, its appearance will be same. You can see it's on different devices or different screen widths. Its alignment will be kept into the center correctly. So responsive and flexible designs are the goal for us. So for that, we need to use a combination of all this. So this is an example for keeping your contents to the center. So rest of borders, shading, box, shadows, everything is okay. But here the key point is, so align item center, justify content center, and display as flex. That's how you can manage. So this is one example for that. So I will copy that. This is an example of keeping the contents and everything into center. That is the basic example here, just for the reference sake. I will copy the screenshot also. Right. So for the reference sake, just the page screenshot. Let's take it. Right. This is what we have designed actually. That's what we have designed. So keeping the content into center, the content into center of page. That is the primary aim for us. Right. So this is what we can achieve by using this. Right. So in the CSS layouts, you need to understand how do we configure the alignments to center. Yeah. Next important in the designs, you will regularly see about a design called badges. Badges. So how we can deal with badges, how we can configure and define the badges. Actually, yesterday we learned numbering. A badge, actually, badge is used for displaying numbering or count or other some. So numbering, you can say numbering, count, and other summary. So within the element. A badge is used for displaying numbering, count, or other summary within the element, right? Uh, Generally, actually, what happens is a badge separates a notification separates a notification with the general content. A badge separates notification with the general content actually, right? Usually how these badge styles are used, how these badge styles are designed. So let's see one simple example how we can work with the badge. So technically, so for this, I am importing some effects like C. This is a center alignment. And let's see about badges. Badge. These are all different layouts that we need for real world regularly. And you will see some solution for these in Bootstrap. Currently, we are designing manually to get perfection on what we have learned. Later, we can apply Bootstrap to keep them more better. So in the title, I defined, suppose some badge. And here, so we are linking relation is equal to style sheet and href is equal to, so fonts and css all.css. Okay. Now in the body section, I am designing some content. So let's keep this as badge style. How generally badge styles are used. So I kept a button here. And in the button, so we are defining some options, options we are configuring. Just I will show you how do we give the badges, how we can define the badges actually. Suppose in the button we have a span. In the span, so we are defining so some another span. Okay. So we have span, two spans here. Okay. And here that span contains the word called likes. That is the span that contains likes. Okay. And here the inner span that contains a class as FA and FA thumbs up. Okay. FA thumbs up. So like this we are defining. So that is the option we have configured. Okay. So what we will do is, for example, first let's keep this one for the content after this keyword word. Okay. Actually, this is having, suppose the text as some 4 likes, some notifications we are defining. Okay. And after this, so we are adding, so the thumbs up span here. So span, and we put a class as, so FA and FA thumbs up. Okay. Usually the appearance, actually what we designed is this one. What we designed is this one, is designed this one. That means we are just defining some 4 likes and thumbs up. That's how we are configuring the content here. Now, important is this 4 is a notification number. So actually that will dynamically change it. Later in our JavaScript, we will write program. So we need to separate it actually. We need to separate that from the existing content. So that means we need to separate that notification. Inside the button, we need to separate that notification actually. That means this number need to be separated. Then what we will do is we will use a class badge. So this is the badge class defined for that. So the 4, only for that 4 option we have badge. So in the styles, what we are configuring in the style. So we are defining in the style. We are defining in the style. So what we are configuring in the styles, let's see. First option here. So when we are writing, so first for the button, so we will keep some width as some 200 pixel. Okay. So height as 40 pixel and border as 1 pixel. So solid and some dark red, something like, yeah. And border radius as 5 pixel. So that is the button appearance we are giving here. That is the button appearance we are defining. And we have a span configured here. So which have margin left as a 5 pixel margin left. Some width as some 30 pixels for the span. So it will keep the space distance between them. And we have a badge. Then what we do is here we are defining, so badge. So badge is the class. In the badge class, we are defining background color. So dark cyan, okay, that is the background color. And here border radius. Yeah, so border radius, I'm configuring this into some 5 pixels. Okay, border radius. And padding as 2 pixels. So that is the padding. And so color is some white for that. And text align to center. That is the badge style we defined for it. Badge style we configured. And when you configure the badge style appearance here, yeah, already we learned it. So difference between margin and padding, we discussed about the layouts, why you suddenly came up with that question. One session happened on that margins and padding box layout. If you missed it, you can go through the notes of layouts, box layout. In that we discussed about what is margin and what is padding. We have 1-day session separately only on padding box, margin box and box layout, right? So you can see this is the badge style actually. This is the badge style. So configuring the badges and working with the badges. So generally this is the badge. Actually, we can keep the badges in different locations, different styles, different locations. We can configure the badges. Depending on the requirement, we can keep them. So that means these badge styles have different appearances. So suppose we have radius to some 10 pixel. So then the badge style so will be like 10 pixel, right? So this can have some badge width as suppose 100 pixel. So that is the badge width. So we have to configure that badge because the content is only that. So we have only 4. Suppose I added some options like so inside this is the content we added. This is the 4, right? The text we are defining. So it will display the style in this. Alignment center badges can be configured with different locations also. We call this as a badge style. Actually, this is very commonly used badge style. So here I am defining only for normal content. So we can use for different options. For different options, the badge style can be defined for different options. For example, this is just I kept in a button. Actually, what we can do is, suppose I will show you. So here we are adding. So we are adding an option like table of contents. Table of contents. In the table of contents, so we are adding some unordered list. So and we have a list item. So we have HTML tutorial. That is the list item defined. And we are configuring. So a span, and we have kept class as so badge. That is the badge. And here we are defining some anchor. So href is equal to hash temporarily. And we are defining the number. So that is one for HTML tutorial, and it is having a span here. Another list item. So we have CSS examples. And here, just beside that, we are adding a span. In the span, we are adding a class as badge. And we kept here, so anchor, some href or something. So here we defined href is equal to hash some 9 like this. So this is a list item. Suppose we have some JavaScript tutorial. Okay, and we have a span, and it is having the class as badge. So and anchor some href is equal to hash, and it is some like 12. Actual intention of this is so this appearance will be like this. This is the general appearance for list items and other contents. Okay. Now what we are doing here is we are giving a class for this ordered list. We will put a class for this as a list group. Okay, that is a list group. Okay, what you want to do with this list group? We will write here list group. So list group, in list group, we have list item. The list group list item, what we want is, we want display as flex. Okay, we have to use justify content space between. Okay, so align items to center. We are aligning items to center. And the list style type I given as none. There is no list style type. And margin top, so we defined as 10 pixel for every list item. And border bottom, so we have defined as bottom as 2 pixel. So we have a dotted border with the dark cyan color. That is the list item list groups we have configured. And wherever anchor is present, we will put here as, so anchor text decoration is equal to text decoration as none. And anchor is a normal link. Then we will put color as white. And anchor visited also, we will put the color as white, just for appearance sake. Now you can see the appearance will get in this way. the appearance will get in this way. So that means this is the badge style that you have defined, the badge style that you have defined. For the badge, I given the width as 100 pixels. Suppose it is 50 pixel, then it will keep the content in this way. So we are keeping the content justified. We are keeping the content justified and the content display in this way. So suppose 30 is enough for this. This is the badge style. These are the badge styles. So we use these as the badge styles. We are keeping the content in this way. Technically, when you are working with, when we are working with alignments, so badges, alignments, this is again here we use the alignment to center. We again use the alignment to center and display as flexible. Display makes this flexible. So at any levels, it will keep the content intact. So, and we are justifying the space between them. One is left, another one is right. We are configuring the space between them. So that is the basic approach, how we configured this. So this type of content we discussed about the previous exercises. One example we tried. So where we need to keep the content one towards the left, another one towards the right. So it requires only two important options to define. You keep display as flex and you justify the content with the space between, and make sure that that contains these two options. That means it contains a name and there is some other division here. So you keep a span to keep the separation between the text. If there are two containers, then only two elements, then only it can justify space between them. So if you haven't defined any span or anything, then it will display in a single location. This is what actually very regularly used styles. We call them as badge styles. Badge styles. Actually, these badge styles depending on the situation. So where you configuring this badge depending on situation. Suppose so we have options like some at the top. Suppose let's keep another option here. So say notifications. And here we kept a div, okay? And here we kept a span, and so here class is equal to FA and FA phone. So we have phone, right? So that means here it is defining, so some appearance like this. That means we have a phone here. And here, so the phone symbol, beside the phone symbol, we kept a span here. Suppose I defined 5 in the number 5 here. And usually here we are defining a badge. Class is equal to badge. I'm defining class as badge for that. It will get the badge style for that. So, but badge is already having some predefined effects here because we have some margins spacing configured for that. So it is having that span because both spans are having that effects actually. So usually now if I want to keep this beside any content, so because it will affect the other options here, so I will keep in a separate location just to understand about that. Usually what we do is, so for this temporarily I will remove this part, okay, and I will give that example first. Later I will make the changes so that we will not miss that content, right? Yeah, let's keep this here first. This is the basic example of designing badge-like appearance. Okay. After that, fine. Now, after that, I will add one more option here is another badge demo. So .html, and here we will keep the same. Means I'm just showing another example of how generally you see regularly contents here. So how we manage that link relation is equal to style sheet, and href is equal to fonts css all.css. Okay. And here in the body section, so I'm just adding a div and a span, and the class is equal to fa and fa phone. Okay. And just here we define an option inside that, because you cannot see if you keep the content as 5 here, some number is defined there. So, and that is another design here. We are adding some content there to display. So you can see that is the 5. Right. Just beside that symbol in that span, we are adding it. Actually, suppose, so we keep this in a span again. So we keep this in a span again, and here we defined as 5. And suppose this is the span that keeps in that span. And usually it should use an appearance like badge. The style we have a badge. So border radius. So as some 10 pixel. So the badge border radius has 10 pixel, and some background color, yeah. Background color, some dark red. Okay. Yeah. So color, some white. Yeah. So this is the badge, and we are applying the class as badge for that. So that is the badge style defined here. Now, usually here temporarily, you can put style and effects for that. So here I'm defining. So margin top as suppose, so 5 pixels. So margin top as 5 pixel, or just here we will use a general CSS here. Actually, this badge appearance you keep in a superscript here, and the appearance of the badge will be in this way. That means we are keeping the content there. So, and the badge, so it is having some font. Yeah. So font family, some Arial. Okay, that is the font family defined for that. It will keep the content in this. So technically, so the placements, so you can change to raise it from the baseline. Technically, you can change the placements from the baseline by using this superscript. We can even adjust through margins, right? And we can keep any content inside this. So text alignment, suppose we have text alignments, text align to center, right? So align to center. So here I defined some content now, 5 missed calls like this. And the badge will display in this way. That is what actually the badge style. So you can add the badge with the padding. So whatever the padding is there as so 5 pixel, and that keeps the content in this. Of course, the size and height and width depending on what your content is decide. These styles you can see regularly. So you may ask, like, do I need to design like this all the badges for showing the notifications and some contents? Actually, no, we don't need to do that actually. Why? Because later you will see more better option for this by using. We can manually design like this. With Bootstrap, we can simply apply these effects for our contents and make the appearance more perfect. but you should know what is a bad style. So Bootstrap will be easy for us. We can directly apply them and simply handle the example. No need to explain much if you learn these layouts by yourself, how to design. I am showing you all part by part. Now I will give one exercise where you have to keep all of these in one example. I will give you a screenshot. These all you have to use and keep in that one example. You have to design them. You can do that now because you are already learning separate how to design badges, how to align the contents to center, right? So two layout related regularly used options we saw. One is content to center and badge. Another important regularly used is pagination style. Pagination style. So pagination style, how we can design pagination. So that means it is for designing pagination. Pagination for contents, content displaying information in more than one page. So remember, this is only designing. It is not any functionality. We cannot give any functionality for that. We can only design it. So functionality we will give by using jQuery or JavaScript. First we need to know how we can define. That means it is mostly used for navigation between records. Navigation between records. It is mostly used for navigation between the records, right? Records or pages. This is a style for pagination. And how do we set the pagination styles? For that, again, whatever we have learned through lists and options, we have to manage. Let's see how we can get a pagination style and work with pagination. So pagination.html. Okay. In this, how we can configure the pagination. So what we are doing is we are just designing a HTML head. Okay. Here we are just designing. So title pagination. So title pagination. Okay. And in the body, so we are using a nav, that is a navigation. And here we have unordered list. Okay. In that list item, in the list item, I'm using an anchor. So this is href is equal to hash. Okay. The same list item, we need several. So I will just copy that and I will keep some list items here. Okay. Some 4 or 5 list items are defined here. So yeah. And here the list item options. So here we are having like, so this is anchor 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4, something like this we have defined. And for unordered list, we use the class as pagination. Usually how it is going to display, it is going to display the content in this way. That is how generally an unordered list will display. Now what your intention is to display this in a correct way. Let's keep a style, how you can give a pagination style. Wherever the navigation bar is there, you keep display as flex. Okay, fine. Then you keep justify content to center. Okay, fine. So navigation bar is having a flex display. This navigation bar have a flex display and justify content between. And wherever you have pagination is given for unordered list. So you keep list type as none, and margin as 0 pixel. Okay, and padding also 0 pixel. Okay, and display as flex for items inside the unordered list also. So list items will have a flex display. That is for the pagination. In the pagination, we have list items. So what we want to do with the list items. So in dot pagination list items. So we want margin as 0 pixel and 0 pixel. That means the margins left and right I will give 1 pixel. Okay. And background color. So we will define as dark cyan. Okay. And we have color. So as color we will give for links because it is present inside the links. And padding I defined as 5 pixel for the list item. And border radius I defined as 5 pixel. Okay. Now anchors. So we will give text decoration as none and anchor colors as white. Okay. And this keeps the appearance in this way. You can see the appearance in this way. This is the pagination style of appearance that you generally give. And the left and right one. So we need to give some symbols here. So this is before one, we have to define the symbol. Here I'm using ampersand, LAQUO. So, and here we are using ampersand. So here it is RAQUO. So these are the literals that we give, and these will get you the appearance in this way. So this is generally how you give the navigation. So this is how we give the pagination. Remember, this pagination will not work currently. This pagination will not work because when I click on this, the page numbers should come 5, 6, 7, 8, or it should go to the next one. It will get me to that particular page. This we can make work. This we can make work. So this we can make work. So with JavaScript and jQuery. Here our intention is to how to design such paginations. How do we design such paginations? Usually we keep these paginations. So we keep these paginations for any content in the tables. So whenever we are designing the tables, we can keep that into the table. Or whenever we are displaying the records, that means here, suppose we have table. So we have a table. And in the table, so we are adding some T head. So TR and TH, some name, and we have some price. Yeah. And we have T body. So table body. And table is having some border as 1 pixel. Border is 1. And width is some 400. Right. And generally in the table, we have table row and table cell. One is name is TV. Another one is some price. Another cell, we defined some price, some option like this. Usually we will have a lot of rows defined there, And generally we keep as tfoot, table footer, and in that row, in that cell, so we will have call span is equal to 2. And here in this, generally I kept this navigation bar. I kept that navigation bar in that area. Usually it looks like this. So that is how generally we keep that pagination content. Height, width, and everything your wish you can change. So for pagination, whatever you are defining, so here you can change. So pagination, how we want to configure, that means height. So how many pixels? Suppose 40 pixel. So we can adjust that content. So it is like 20 pixel. So it will adjust the content according to the content. By default, according to the content, because display flex, it will keep it flexible according to that. So this we can make it function. We can make it work. So when we are dealing with JavaScript and jQuery, because on the click, so we need to navigate, we need to scroll to the contents. These type of paginations, actually, you may see that everything is side by side like a span or like a general content, but actually all these are designed by using list styles. All these designed by using list styles, right? So everywhere you will find this list styles very regularly. Mostly such contents which bulleted list or bulleted contents, you can see that list styles very regularly. How to use them in different occasions, I have shown you. I have shown you in different occasions. So there are several more options now. So we can add for different more options and use them here. So we will see that how we can manage for different other options. This is an example that this is for pagination. This is a pagination, and I will just give you the example for that pagination. That is pagination. That is the pagination. How you give the paginations and options for this. As I already told you, right? Majority of the items, navigations and items that we generally configure by using this list items on list items. Already in different occasions, like navigation bar, toolbars, tab controls, all these, you will see designing in bootstrap like contents, how we can work and design by using bootstrap like content, you will see. So initially, these are the general options that are regularly used for various layouts. In the layouts, you will find some more options regularly seen here. In the layouts, you will see some more options regularly, like a card style, how we can design the cards, how we can configure the cards. So in a previous example, I already showed you. One more popular options are like, that means technical words, you need to know about them. So technical terms, you need to know about them. Actually, people called as a breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is a type of appearance that generally we use for displaying the contents. Breadcrumb like appearance. So technically, the appearances that you see, so breadcrumb like appearance, I hope I already showed you once about that, how we can use the breadcrumbs and all. Actually, one example I will show you in the websites here. So bootstrap, okay, get bootstrap. Yeah. In the bootstraps, you have breadcrumb examples. That means how we can see the breadcrumbs layouts. Yeah, so you can see this is the breadcrumb. This is the breadcrumb style. These are the breadcrumb styles. That means we need to design the content in this way. We need to design the content in this way, side by side, arranging that information. For navigation bars and for contents, usually we will see that type of appearance actually, some type of appearance. So if anyone asks how you achieve this, so breadcrumbs, how you can achieve this, how you can achieve breadcrumb like appearance. So for this, already we learned one example, if you remembered. So that means if I want the appearance in that way, then usually we can use the options like, so ordered list, unordered list only. So the like toolbars. So in CSS examples, so we designed toolbars. So when we designed the toolbars, we have to keep the content side by side. We have to design the content side by side. Actually, breadcrumb styles, how you do is some breadcrumb. Okay, .html. How you can define the breadcrumb like styles. So see, generally what we do is, in order to get that appearance, already we learned about it. So I think you can also tell that now, actually, to give that appearance in the body, we have an unordered list. So list item, so that is home, another list item that is about, and a list item like contact. And here we are keeping this as an anchor. All this, we kept this as an anchor. Yeah. Breadcrumb like appearance, how you can get that. So contact, okay, contact. This is an ordered list, unordered list, right? So here, how you can give that type of appearance for the content. How you can give that appearance. So href is equal to hash, href is equal to hash, and href hash. Okay. And how we can get that appearance actually. So here I'm defining the style, and wherever we have the anchor text decoration as none, okay, that removes that here. And we have unordered list, we have list style type as none, so that means no option defined here. And unordered list, we have here display as flex, it keeps the options here. And unordered list, we have list items, so unordered list items, so we keep that as some margin left as some 50 pixels, and keep the margin left as 50 pixels. Now important here is we need to keep some content between them. Breadcrumb like appearance, how you can give the breadcrumb like appearance for that. Usually to give the breadcrumb like appearance, so the list items, every list item is separated like this here. So suppose I defined unordered list, so list items, and here unordered list list item. So we have after, we defined after. I defined a content. After I defined the content as slash. I defined the content and slash. You can see that slash style will come. That slash style will come, right? So this will keep after that. So after that, it will keep that after the contents. That means you can see after the contents, it keeps it. Now, such breadcrumb like, this is called breadcrumb like navigation usually, right? So how you define, so with the different effects. So you said display as flex, you can keep different symbols. This is slash, I defined like an arrow. So like an arrow, so then it will give that appearance in this way. So we are configuring the options in this way. How we can use that as we are defining for every option, we are configuring for every option. Now in that, what we do is, suppose a navigation style we are defining, configuring the navigation style to keep the alignments and everything correctly. These type are used mostly for navigation. So I will keep this in a nav bar. Okay. I will just remove this unordered list options for you. And let's keep the styles to make you understand in a correct way. First option is here. How you manage the navigation is for nav bar. So wherever we are using the navigation bar, we will give a class called breadcrumb. I will write here some breadcrumb. So breadcrumb. So in the breadcrumb, you have unordered list. So we will keep display. As flex. And I will give that to the navigation bar. So that means it is using the class breadcrumb. Okay, crumb. That is the navigation I am defining. So it is giving that appearance here. You can see that is the breadcrumb appearance we are having. That is the navigation we are having. Okay. And what we are doing here is here we are configuring. So the breadcrumb, list item. So before the list item, we will put a content, and we will keep the content as some arrow. We'll keep the content as arrow. That is the before that arrow. But you can see the first option is also displayed with that. The first option is also displayed. For first one, we don't want. So because unordered list, we will say list style type as none. That means it will not give that. Only this will come. And I don't want for the first one, you know how to handle it. So what we need to do, if I don't want to give it for the first one, then what we do is breadcrumb list. In the list item, if it is first child, we will give as first child, you know that first child, and before the first child, so we will add before first child. Yeah, before the first child, so we want content to keep empty, content to keep empty, that will keep empty. That makes sense. Here, how you keep the content, what separator you use, it depends on your requirement. Depends on your requirement. You can set some space between them, and this is how we design the breadcrumb. This is called breadcrumb like appearance. This is mostly used for navigation. Crumb, right? This is mostly used for navigation, but dealing with the navigation bars. So it is a very frequently used navigation style. So the breadcrumb is used a very frequently used navigation style. And to get that appearance, this is what actually the design. Because generally when you are working for real world, so in projects, usually they talk in a technical way. They say that I want the navigation in a breadcrumb style. I want a pagination. I want a badge. So to understand these technical words, I'm giving you these examples that, okay, breadcrumb means this is how we make the arrangement, alignments. Okay, when you are talking about pagination means this is how it actually displays the content, right? So these are very important. These are very important. So there are several other options like how we can handle split navigations, how you can define sticky contents, how you can define card styles, how you can define the card styles. Already card styles I given you. So these are all general layouts. Card style already I given to you. One example I given to you. In the CSS examples, we learned about how do we design a card style I given to you, right? So those all comes under the categories of layouts, how we can configure the layouts and use the layouts. So these technical terms you should know. Then some more options we have here, like how you can create a split navigation, how you can create a sticky footers, right? And how we can add more effects into the CSS. Now, what we are going to learn in the CSS is about how do we configure and work with now CSS 2D and 3D effects. This makes the presentation more effective in the presentations, right? How do we work with these 2D and 3D effects in CSS and design examples with them? We can now rotate, we can change the orientation, and we can keep in a perfect appearance according to our requirement. That requires now the knowledge of 2D and 3D effects in CSS that we will see in next session, right? Tomorrow we will continue with this. And tomorrow we will see how to handle CSS 2D and 3D. Once we finish CSS 2D and 3D, then we can go into Bootstrap. What is Bootstrap and how do we work with the Bootstrap, right? Tomorrow we'll continue with this.